Hello everyone! Today I'm finally going to be customizing one of the new Gen 3 Monster High dolls, and I'm going to be doing Draculaura. Draculaura has always been my favorite, so I figured she would be a good place to start. Of course, as every customization starts, I have to cut all her hair off. Once all her hair is cut off, I have to very gently remove her head. I say gently because I heard the Gen 3 dolls have a problem with the neck pegs breaking, but luckily that wasn't an issue this time. I use a pair of needle nose pliers to get at all the plugs in her head, kind of just scraping them around to get them all out. Then once they're all out, I use some acetone and a Q-tip to take off her face. This is actually part of a TikTok OC creator challenge, as if you've seen the short, you know. So I have to start out with the hair first actually, so I made a wig cap out of tape. I wanted to make it out of tape because I figured it would lay better on the head, and it actually did. This turned out very well. The only reason I didn't show me making it was because I wasn't sure if it would work or not. But I do recommend this method, although make sure you line the inside of it with something. I didn't, I just used a sealant, and it kept getting stuck. Well, not really stuck to the head, but it was very sticky still. Anyway, I painted it the color of the hair so it looks more full, and then started gluing it on, first around the outside of the head. Then I start filling in the inside. I usually don't wait for all the glue to dry per layer or per row, I guess, and it usually ends up working out pretty well, but that's just because I have zero patience. Once it starts looking like this, I take a butter knife and a hair straightener, heat up the butter knife, and use that to press the hair back. Once it's all pushed back, I realize it looks a little weird. So I pull back all the wefts that I just laid flat in order to glue on some more hair wefts, which I then cut into bangs. Then I can remove the wig, and it's like I didn't even do anything. Fantastic. And I'm not done with the hair yet. I take it outside with some fabric spray paint, and I wanted to give it a bit of a gradient, which is why I'm using the spray paint. I didn't really want to use dye since I'm not completely confident with it, so this is the next best option. Then I go in and paint her skin purple. I had a really nice purple paint lying around, and I never really get to use it because it's also super dark, so I figured I would use it for this project. Once it's layered up, it's actually so dark that I have to use paint to go in to make all the blush on the body and the face. And actually on camera you can't see it because apparently the layers I'm using are so thin. Once I've up a few times, I start on the face. First, of course, blocking out the eye, and I say eye because one of them is going to be closed. And I decide to go in with some light gray and do a bit of shading on the inside of the eye, just to make it look a little more depth-y, I guess. For the iris of the eye, I'm making it a star, and for a little while I contemplating making it silver. But there's gonna be a lot more silver in this project, so I figured I would go with yellow and orange to make the eye really pop. And you can't really see the yellow. I hate painting with yellow so much. It takes so many layers. Then I outline it with orange, and I did that off camera because it's really, really tiny. And I add an orange fade inside the star, wipe it off a little, then add some white highlights. I also go ahead and do the eyelashes off camera because I wanted to make them more fine this time around. Though I do some shading with white, and that is clearly on camera. Lastly are her eyebrows. Or I say lastly, I still gotta do her lips. But you know, eyebrows come first. You actually don't end up seeing these because they get covered by the bangs. And for her lips, I of course do purple, because I guess we're just keeping with that theme now. At first I wanted to add a little bit of teeth, like her mouth is partially open and you can see her teeth a little. So I tried that, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I just wiped it off and went without. Even though she's going to be wearing a wig, I painted her scalp anyway. I kind of wanted the assurance that it would be completely covered up. Afterward, I very carefully pop her head back on. I really wish I did this before I did her face because I was really nervous and it did end up cracking a little, but it was around the neck, so it's all good. For her first accessory, I'm going to be using this wire that I bend into 3 circles, 2 of the same size, 1 of a different size, as you can see here. I just used the Mod Podge bottle to get the circle. And then here, you can see me hot gluing it, but I actually redid this to make it the wire longer, so I just wrapped it around itself to hold it in place, because the hot glue did not work. I did hot glue it together like you see here though. I needed something to cover up this little bundle of hot glue and wire here, so I take some foam, trace out a circle, and cut it out. And then I paint it to look like a little moon. These are going to be rings that go on her head. I do end up gluing this onto her head because it's just on the wig, so it's not permanently there. Then I take that same bottle I used to trace the circle and bend out some more circles with wire. These are going to be earrings, and I didn't realize at first how massive they are, but honestly I'm happy with it. Then I also bend some wire around her fingers for more rings. They're rings like Saturn. Get it? Her shoes I actually took from a Gen 3 Claudine doll that I had on hand, since she came with 2 pairs of shoes and these ones had little moons on them. They also have like a leopard print on the bottom, so I take some very, very thin sheets of clay and just fill it in there. It is air dry clay, so I just have to let it dry for a bit, then I proceed to paint the whole thing white. For the bottom of the shoe, I paint it black. This is both just the color I wanted to do, and also because if it's black, it's going to hide any imperfections on the clay. just in case. The strap around her ankle is also painted black. Then I use a dotting tool to dot on the little rivets white. This is just going to be an underlayer for the silver paint that I'm going to dot on right after. Because if I went on silver onto black, it would never ever layer enough to be opaque. Because metallic paints are actually very not opaque. I forgot what the word is. For her clothes, I actually had another Draculaura doll. I just used the other one because it was cheaper. And I used her shorts to make this pattern, actually. I kind of just traced them onto some paper while they were still intact, because I didn't want to seam rip them apart. When I cut this out, it ended up with notches on either side, so I redid what you just saw, but it didn't have notches. Then I fold it over, make another piece, and put the two pieces together. And that's the shorts almost done. I had to put a cut in the back with a snap so they would fit around her waist snugly. With a different kind of black fabric, I used the shirt pattern, which I actually eyeballed myself instead of using clothes from the other Draculaura doll, to trace and make the shirt. Once I got it cut out, I don't put it together just yet. I actually paint some constellations on there. I use some yellow fabric paint, which I end up changing to white, so pretend this is just white paint right now. I paint a few constellations on there. I know the Big Dipper and Aries, but I forget the names of the two I put on the front of the shirt, and I don't feel like looking them up, I'm gonna be completely honest. Once the paint has dried, I am reminded of how much I absolutely despise painting with yellow paint. Like, I laid it on thickly and you can't even see it. So I take my dotting tool with some white acrylic paint and just paint over all the spots. Then once that's dry, I do the exact same thing but with yellow paint again, and this time it's acrylic, so it should not dry clear. Once I got that all done and dry, I sewed the two sides together. Then I tried on the doll and I realized I did not like it, so I changed it to white like I said I was going to do earlier. And I did end up putting different constellations on it. Again, I didn't get the names of the constellations. I didn't put any sleeves on because I'm going to make a coat using the wrong side of this purple fabric, that's the right side there, which I'm folding over because I do actually like the inside of it and it'd be perfect for this doll. I just sized up the shirt pattern for this one because it did have to fit over the shirt, and then I trace it out. Once I got it cut out, I don't put it together yet, again, so that I can add the sleeves, which is also the reason I didn't add sleeves onto the other shirt, is so the coat could fit over it. Once the sleeves are on though, that's when I put the two sides together. I ironed it flat, and I didn't show you because the iron would bug out my camera a lot because of all the lights on it, and I'm not quite done with the coat yet. I have this white craft fur. I just bought this instead of making yarn wefts because I didn't feel like it. Gonna be honest, I don't really like making yarn wefts. But I take some fabric glue and glue it onto the coat because I didn't want any of the stitches to be visible, and I couldn't think of a way, since the fur is so thick, didn't want to fold it over because since it's a doll scale, it would be way, way too thick. So I just glue on each piece. And something I should have done before I put the fur on, but I am an idiot and did not do this, is painting a moon on the back. It's the same way I made the little moon pin for the rings that's on her head. I just painted in white and shade it with gray. The first time came out a gray blobby mess, so I put some little moons or stars on there. Then afterward, once it dried, I blended it out, and she's done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See ya!